Hey, so this is a quick video just showing you about how to get the stereo out of a Toyota MR2 Roadster. This is my 2002. It's a pre-facelift, but I believe it's the same for pre and post-facelift. So before we start, I'll just show you quickly what tools you need. A flat-bladed screwdriver is very useful. Just a quick tip, if you haven't got like proper trim removal tools, which are soft plastic so they don't damage your plastic trim, if you use a flat-bladed screwdriver and just put a bit of duct tape over the blade, it'll just soften it enough that it doesn't put nasty edged marks into all your plastic trim. So a little flat-bladed screwdriver. You don't actually need that many tools. I have just a bog standard Halford socket set, which is really useful. You basically need a 10mm socket and a decent cross thread screwdriver. I think it's about a Phillips size 2 side for various screws and stuff in here. And that's pretty much all you definitely need. Obviously a range of socket sets, screwdrivers and ratchet bits are useful because some of the access is quite hard. So now we've got all of that together, I'll just show you how to get started getting to all of this stuff. It's a little bit counterintuitive and you need to remove more than you think you should have to, but if you do it all properly you don't damage anything, so it's worth doing. First things first, for a bit of extra access you can just put the car back into, well, 6 in my case, or 4th will work, just to get a bit more room. If you find that you can't do the stuff around here because you haven't got the right tools, you might find you actually have to pull this centre console out. Luckily mine's quick release, but it has 4 screws in it which are a pain to get to down the side of the seats here, but there's one back that way, each side, so there's 4 in total holding in, and if you find you're having real difficulty here, it's worth the 5 minutes just to pull this out so you don't damage anything. So first things first, bit of prep, you take the ashtray out, you take these heater knobs off as well. You have to take all 3 off because of the way it comes apart, and it's always worth keeping all your bits in one place. And the other thing you have to take off is this little heater bolt. It just pulls off towards, and there should actually be a bit of trim in here showing you the heater control, but mine is already missing, so somebody didn't look after that last time it came off. And from here what you can see is that, I hope you can see it on these, yeah, just at the top here we've got a screw just in there, right there, and another one right there. So those need to come out in a minute. And under here you will see there should be 2, there's only 1 on mine because it's already been hacked to bits. There's 2 10mm screws down here. So we'll get to removing those. So this, in terms of short access, just a little extender bar on your 10mm socket, a ratchet works pretty well. And that's righty tighty, lefty loosey, all that. Careful not to drop them into your trim, it's a real pain. And then you can put that somewhere safe for safekeeping. That out. And then you'll find this trim surround comes off. Don't just yank at it because there is in fact a plug here with a clip on. That needs to come off. Just pull fit off the back of that, and that's just the light for the old cigarette lighter there. A bit loose on mine actually. That's that. We're going to undo these 2 screws. And this bit doesn't actually have to be unplugged if you don't want to undo those plugs. You can just pull it away, out the way to give you enough access. And you can see it now just pops out forwards. And that's that. Be careful, these bits of plastic here, that passenger thing can just drop off, and it did the last time I took this apart, I believe. That out of the way. From here you can start to see where you're going with this. Tucked behind these plastic side strokes here, in here, there's one of your bolts, but this bit of plastic has to come out the way first, and there's another one this side as well. There's also a couple at the bottom. So in order to get those, what you actually need to do with your trim removal tool, you go in between the silvery bit and the dark grey plastic and just pry it out There you go. So it pops it out and down. You can see that it's got this clip just on here, which is the clip that holds it in, and you just pry it away to pop it off. And it does take a little bit of wrangling. It doesn't feel particularly great to remove, but don't force anything. If it feels like it's not coming, just try a slightly different angle of attack on it. And from there, hopefully what you can see here is we have two screws. It's just these ones that hold the plastic in. This is the main support bar for the centre console that you don't have to remove. So it's just these little cross-headed screws that need to come out. Just put them somewhere safe, and then this slides down and off like that, and don't slice your thumb open while you do it. And again, you can see it's just got some little clips on here that when you put it on, you tuck it up into this slot up here and push it upwards, and from there you can start to see where our actual screws are. So this has obviously got this large surround on it. There's one here, in here, and there's another one up there, and I believe this plastic surround actually clips off the front of my stereo to remove it. Now I hope you don't mind, but I'm not going to take my stereo completely out. From here you've got these 1, 2, 3, 4 screws, and that pulls it straight out forwards, and I'm not going to do that because it is actually a bit of a pain to refit. What I will show you though is I'll show you what it looks like once it's out. So what we have here is the back of the standard. This is the standard Sony stereo, and this is the back of it. They all look very much alike, and all you have in here really is the antenna, which is important. It's like a coaxial plug, a long plug that fits in there. You need to make sure that's properly seated when you refit the new stereo, and then you have something akin to this, which this is the Sony adapter Loom. So all that is, that's the plug for the back of the stereo. These are the two ISO standard plugs that go to the Toyota Loom. So all you need to do is make sure that you've got a ISO to whatever stereo you choose adapter Loom, and it will plug straight in, hopefully. If you pull this apart and you find that there's loads of crimp connectors and solder and tape, and somebody's hacked your Loom about, then you might have to do a little bit of digging just to check that everything's safe and wired properly before you pull it apart and fit your stereo and get it working. This is just held in, so when you pull this apart you'll find it's got two plates on the side of it, which are the brackets that actually hold it into the fascia there, and all they do is you put your new plate, your plates onto your new stereo here, and you'll find that 3 of these holes line up, with all these multi-fit holes here. 3 of them will line up, and you just put screws in. Bear in mind that you use the correct length screws. Your stereo should come supplied with them if you buy it new, because if you put drive screws straight into the electronics inside, obviously it can end up quite unhappy. But yeah, so you just screw those 2 adapter plates on, do your wiring, make sure that you've got the antenna and your Loom, and if you've got any other accessories you might find there's some other plugs that need doing there as well. Plug it all up. It's always worthwhile actually at that point just sitting it in the dash, firing the car up and checking it. Oh, and I should add any electronics you're doing, electrics on your car, disconnect the battery before you start pulling it apart. But yeah, fire it up, check that it all works as you expect it to, so that you don't end up going through the whole dash removal process just to fix a little minor plug you've forgotten to do up or something. So that's about it. That's all it takes to pull the stereo out of these cars, in true Haynes fashion. Replacement is the reverse of removal, so you know, you just slot all this up on here, get all these clips nicely done up. Just be careful when you put it back together, because you know all this stuff can end up rattling about if you don't properly clip it back together, and nobody needs that. Cool, I hope that's all you need to know. If you've got any specific questions, just ask me and I'll clear it up for you. Cheers.